The NobleSole podcast would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the lands on which we gather, dream, and record this podcast.
The Wurundjeri and Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation.
We pay our respects to those mobs and their elders, past, present, and future. We'd also like to extend that acknowledgement to all mobs across the many nations on these lands.
We'd like to thank the lands that we create on. Sovereignty was never ceded.
This always was and always will be Aboriginal land.
Welcome to the NobleSole podcast, where creativity meets consciousness. I'm Ben Noble.
And I'm Amy Soul. And we're best friends, like a pen and its cap.
And today we're yarning the hero's journey. Hey,
Hi.
how are we feeling?
Do you ask that because you know that I'm grumpy today?
Look, I'm just checking in. Just thought we'd just check in and see how we're going.
I'm in a mood.
Yeah? What's the mood?
I hate everyone.
Incredible. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because I don't want to do our topic today.
Yeah, okay. So there's resistance to the theme.
Yep. Which is the hero's journey.
What is it about the hero's journey that you're feeling resistance about?
Do you know what? And this is for me to figure out within myself. Maybe there's something about, and I'm so consciously aware that the hero's journey has got nothing to do with men or the masculine. But I'm just really annoyed at men right now.
Right. And you're making the correlation between the masculine and the hero's journey.
A little bit, because it's not the heroine's journey, it's the hero's journey.
Yeah. And we've talked a little bit about the different
Between masculine form and feminine form.
Yeah.
And just today I'm just a bit like, fuck it all.
Yeah. So is there like a hero's journey?
And then because you're a man and you're sitting in front of me, I'm like,
Fuck,
Ben.
fuck this guy, fuck the patriarchy, fuck the hero's journey, where's the heroine's journey? Is that a good...
no. It's
No.
just like, yeah.
See, I can't even get it right because I'm a man, but if... Sorry, you tell me how you feel. No.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting my periods.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that, I don't think that necessarily the hero's journey is gendered, even though it is. But, yeah, there's just resistance. I don't know what that resistance is. Maybe as we go through the episode, hopefully by the end of the episode, it'll become clear to me what the truth of the resistance is.
Cool. Maybe you're in, the... you're in the... What do they call it? Do you want to talk about the actual structure of the hero's journey?
That's a great place to start for people who don't know what it is.
Exactly.
Do you know what it is?
I have a broad sense of it. This is, Meg, you can just be the ticking thing. I know that it was Joseph Campbell, he was the original kind of he wrote a book of the hero with 1,000 faces. And so that's kind of where the archetype or the format came from. And it's there is basically, from my understanding, please jump in at any moment where
I'm in no way, shape, an expert on the hero's journey.
Neither am I. But it's you've got somebody who's at just a normal place, but there's a problem.
Yeah, the world as we know it.
Yeah, the world as we know it, and there's a certain circumstances that is an issue. And then they go on a journey of stepping out of that, and then finding there's something that happens that triggers them to step out of that. So normally a death or something.
An inciting incident.
And then there's a point of no return where they have to leave that place or person or whatever to go to fix it, basically. And then it goes on to the other kind of plane. So it leaves that era or that place and then goes into either a internal or like a metaphysical realm. And then there's like people that like band of brothers and or like, you know, comrades or mentors or stuff that help them along the way. And then like they have like a fight or some type of like challenge and they normally lose. And then they like regroup and then is like entrusted with or finds a knowledge. And like either a knowledge or a gift or a reward. Oh, actually, no, before that, it's like the, they go through, what's the word called? It's like their internalized kind of like,
The all is lost, the dark night of the soul moment.
Yes. Yeah, there's a word for it. Meg put up the word here because I'll tell you when I think of it. Anyway, and then they get the reward from going through that. And then they take that knowledge and it's like, then they have like the final kind of like
The test of that.
test of that at where like all the things that they've learned along that track is like the final thing.
Yep.
And then they rejoice,
Yep.
they win.
And they take the win
And
the
then they
spoils
take-
back to the...
And then they come back to
Yep.
the land that they like originated, but it's for the better.
Yes.
Because they have
The world
that-
now is the new world.
Yes.
Changed.
Yeah. So that's my understanding.
That's a pretty
of it.
good summary. Yeah.
Cool.
That's basically how it works.
Ordeal. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, going through the ordeal.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that it's really interesting because the hero's journey is like a very specific kind of story structure, but all different versions of like story structure, whether or not it's like 5-act story or like any kind of version of where story gets created, kind of goes on a similar path. Like the Pixar method is also similar. Like all of these kind of story arcs we do is kind of a version of or somewhere around what the hero's journey is. Even when you think of like basic story structure of like inciting incident, crisis, climax, falling action, resolution, it's all kind of the same. All versions of the models of which we tell stories sit around that. And there's this kind of theory, was it Jung? Because I think that's where, anyway.
Carl Jung, yeah.
But that this is kind of, I mean, there's many theories that this is like the actual monolithic story structure in which all humans live. Like it's the fundamental base of human existence is to follow this journey through life, which I think a lot of people argue with because there's different story structures and different cultures. But I actually think it's freaking interesting that all versions of story come back to a version of this.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the hero's journey specifically, but a version of like the world as we know it, something shifting, needing to go on a quest, being going through an all is lost moment, having mentors, being reborn, and then being tested again to see that the knowledge is learnt, and then bringing back something that changes the world for the better.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, every good story does a version of that or tweaks it, but it sits kind of in that frame. I remember there was someone that was like, that is the journey, that is the spiritual journey of the souls that come to Earth to learn that story. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think my thoughts on that is like from my personal experience, I resonate with the hero's journey in some aspects where it's like there is a moment, because for me it's like all this is taking responsibility. It's that threshold. It's like taking responsibility for, I'm going to go out and do something about a thing, whether it's within me or within my community. And then like the learnings that come with it. And that dark night of the soul moment, that
all is lost.
all is lost, for me, that's a part of the healing journey. I know so many people, and me included, where you do so much work and like healing where that ordeal part feels
That's
like
where the transformation happens.
but it feels like, I've gone 5 steps backwards. Why did I open this can of worms. But if you can get through it,
Yeah.
everything's so much easier on the other side, right?
It's different on the other side.
But you then have like the tools and sorry, I'll just speak for me. I felt like I then had the courage and the bravery and like the resilience almost to like go into that space and come out okay.
Yeah, I think the resilience is an interesting word because it's almost like it's not that once you go through that process in your life, does life get easier? But the resilience, the growth, it's the expansion of self.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to a little bit more of that resilience, like the sense of growth?
I think it's like one of the catalysts of my life was like my father dying. Dead clubs. But like
Every part of my brain wanted to go.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I can't do that.
No, you can. We don't know
not
where
because he's not dead dad. I just got like really superstitious. I was like, I don't want to like, and I was like, I'm not even religious. I don't even believe in hell. Literally just kissing the ground, Amy.
Yeah. Maybe he's just grounded. Maybe he's in hell.
My question is what is the kind of the growth that comes after a dark night of the soul?
Right.
For you, like what's been your experience of that rather than it being like, because this kind of idea that there's happiness on the other side isn't true.
Yeah.
There's something realer or more expansive or something that like it can be messier or more complicated but it's just there's what is that feeling? What is that thing? What is that sense of growth for you?
For me, it's, as I touched on the resilience part, right? So it's like, it's not that things get easier. It's that you've learnt how to slay dragons. So it's like when another one comes up, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I've never really been too shy of confrontation. And so, but that was always, as a young man and a teenager, that was always with other people. It was external. If I had a problem with somebody, or if somebody had a problem with me, I'd want to hash it out. And that's still semi the case. But as an adult, and after going through that like dark night of the soul ordeal bit, it's like now I do that with me. It's like, when I feel that there is something that is like, clouding my judgment, or doesn't feel like I've moved through something, where there is something that's sticky, I don't shy away anymore.
But is that not just like one version of transformation, right? Because you have many versions of like, for me, I think you go on many versions of the hero's journey. You have many dark nights of the soul. You have many, and what you're speaking to is one version, or what I hear is that one version of your dark night of the soul. On the other side of it, allowed the expansion for like inward understanding and introspection and expansion and the understanding of how to handle things and move through things.
Yeah.
And so does it just add on to that?
I think so. And I think like, you know how we was, because there's like a knowledge or a gift or something that they bring back to the thing. It's, for me, it was never external. It was never something out there.
You were wearing the ruby slippers the whole time.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that. It's we've always had the ruby slippers on.
We've always got the ruby slippers.
And it's like, we just didn't know that we needed to tap them 3 times. Yeah.
Here's my question. Because I wonder, story structure shows us that there's a theatrical problem, right? There's a dramatic problem in which the world is facing. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
That people are like, something's wrong, but I'm just going to go my day to day. And then something happens and there's a bigger crisis that goes, no, now you must face it. And then you go out onto the journey. My question has always been whether or not, is that just story form that we've experienced in movies so often that we then translate it back to our own reality and is influencing us as human beings and in fact is damaging how we move through the world? Or is it a quintessential human process that we've just then reflected back into story?
Yeah, it's like
It's a good question.
It is a good question.
Thank you.
Like is art reflecting reality, or is reality
reflecting art?
Yeah.
That's a good quote.
Yeah.
That's a t-shirt quote.
No, I fully get that, because like I wrote a poem about this, like, 2 weeks ago, and one of the things that's jumping out at me right now is that there's one line in it where it's like, for the longest time, I can remember this feeling that was deep in my chest telling me that I'm meant for more than what?
Yeah.
And it's that, right? It's like there is that like
The call to adventure.
or that there's something wrong with me, or I need to find that.
Standing at the edge of the water long as I can remember.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, there's this jewel or like a...
Meg, can you please put me in Moana by the ocean?
Really putting Meg through her paces.
I want to be the chicken. Alan Tudyk. So good.
That gift or that reward or that, token to bring back to where we started to make things better, that's somehow outside of me. That's somehow a thing to chase.
No. But it always starts off in the story that it is external, and through the journey you realize that it's actually an internal process. Because you go, oh, I'm going on the quest for the ring, but it's actually not the ring.
But that's my point. It's like that's when it's like, is reality or is art telling us that it is external, but we don't have the capacity to figure out that it is internal until we have that felt experience.
Exactly, but it doesn't have to be an external process to go through to realize, to go on the journey internally. Like, it's almost like an initiation, right? Like, it's the process of actually going through the process of the doing to be able to understand the self, to be able to give back to the purpose.
Yeah. Well, that's where like rituals and like rites of passage come in.
Yep.
Where it's you've gone from one stage of your life
to another,
and now you're in another.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're talking about.
Exactly what we're talking about.
Is like going through those ordeals to then come out the other side a different human.
Yeah.
And it's like just raising the bar of knowledge and wisdom around being a human. And it's like, okay, now I know where my boundaries are now, or now I've learned how to love myself, or now I've learned whatever it is.
I do find this interesting idea though of raising though, like rather than it being like getting better and almost like an expansive of or a capacity building of, because I don't think it's like a leveling up process. Like, I don't think you're all of a sudden a 99 level paladin. Maybe you are. Maybe we're all just in a video game and this is a simulation.
Because
we do literally have numbers. Like, you're level 36.
I know, but
I'm level 35.
I'm level 36. But
we're like barely out of the starting area.
I remember freaking out when I was like, what was it, 30, I don't know, 32 or something. And I was like, oh, my dad lived to 63. And I'm like, oh, 32. Like, if I died when my dad dies,
I'm halfway through.
I'm already halfway through. It's like the midlife crisis isn't at 50.
My brain just went, Dad went into a high level area before he was ready. I was like, that's not it.
Yeah, I don't know why there's so much dad here today.
Stuff.
Maybe he was one of my heroes.
Oh, that was so sweet.
He was, though. Like, he definitely showed me a way of, like, a different way of living.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, because my mum and dad broke up when I was like 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I was the cause.
We're not going to unpack that.
Well,
but I don't think that's true.
Well,
I'm certain it's not true, Ben.
When it's that early on.
No, it wasn't you.
Nah. Sure.
You just went, I'm not accepting that. Boing, boing.
No. He used to have this like thing where it was like on your tombstone, everybody has a dash.
Yeah.
1 number, and that's when you're born, and 1 number, that's when you die, and there'll be a dash in the middle. And the dash represents your life.
Yeah.
And everybody gets their own dash. I get a dash, you get a dash, and nobody can tell you how to fill your dash. So go and fill your dash with everything that you want
Yes.
and nothing that you don't.
Yes.
And when he was alive, there was parts of me that was like, well, that's a bit, like coming from a dad that kind of like left, and I saw him every second weekend, and not really every second weekend because maybe he'd be hungover and skip a couple of weekends, and it'd be 6 weeks until I saw him. He wasn't very much a dad. He was like a fun uncle kind of dad, because they'd only see him for like 24 hours every 6 weeks. So we'd go out and do adventures, but he was never like the father type. But he showed me like all of Australia, and he showed me like how to trust myself and to speak confidently. Because he wasn't super stable, I could see him choosing everything that he wanted to fill his life in with with his dash, made it that everything that he didn't want was also the responsibilities that he didn't want to undertake, which then, directly affected me. And so I always thought, okay, this is, I get the concept of it, but also you have responsibilities and you can't just do everything that you want and nothing that you don't.
And the responsibilities expand the dash.
Yeah. And so it's like, now that I realize that it's like, I truly do believe that, like, each of us have a dash and we should fill it with everything that we want.
The moral story lesson, right? To not take the trauma that you have with your father and use it as an example. But there's something in, like, if you have, like, if something in your dad was like, I want to live my life to the fullest, and this is the version of the world as it is I'm a person that will do all of the fun things, but maybe won't do all of the difficult things that cause a different level of growth or expansion in the dash. So, like, the philosophy is the thing, but maybe an avoidance of something. In a story world, that's a protagonist that then has to learn the lesson of it. It's through the doing of the difficult things that you expand and grow a bigger world around you. Which your dad in this lifetime didn't do, but set up as a lesson for you to do the difficult things. Because you're a person that goes, I don't just want to have fun. I'm not just on the roller coaster. I want to do things that are difficult.
Yeah.
And for the better. Which I think is a really honourable way to live that dash.
A noble way, some might say.
Oh my God, I want to throw a pen at you.
So what does the hero's journey mean to you? And how has it, like, shaped your life, if you think about your life in relation to the hero's journey?
I don't know why, but it just pisses me off. It just makes me angry.
Is it because you don't resonate with it and you can't find similarities between your life and the hero's journey? Or is it that there is some similarities and that's parts that you don't want to accept because you like other structures better?
Like, I think that I almost stereotypically fall into, like, the kind of over the rainbow narrative. The kind of grew up in a small town, wished to be somewhere else, wanted to run and escape. That kind of, like, queer, lonely, traumatized kid narrative of, like, I want to be somewhere. Yeah. I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing, walking around on those, what do you call them?
I don't know.
Feet.
I don't know Wicked as well as you do.
Oh my God, that's the Little Mermaid.
That's my point!
Can we please put Ben as the Little Mermaid, Meg? Please. Yeah. And so I think I'm a kind of, and then the person who moved to the big city and came from very little and worked really hard and tried to be honorable and learnt lessons and had mentors. I did go on a hero's journey. Yeah. Why
do you resent that?
Because story's stupid.
Okay.
I don't fundamentally believe that at all. I believe the opposite of that. I love story, and I love story structure. This idea that, like, story isn't real life, that there's a separation from self and story, and that's what makes good art. But in fact, I fundamentally believe that our stories and us are one and the same. All of our works are autobiographical, even if we just then end up calling her Dorothy. It's the journey that we've gone on and experienced, and their lessons that we are then sharing. Which, you know, it comes from even creation stories, right? Like, creation stories still follow a version of the hero's journey, not quite Western and Greek like drama as the hero's story, but a version of like a world as we know it. Most of the time, it's the person who is then, not always, but then learns a lesson or does something and then comes back and is transformed forever into something that now creates the world as anew, right? Like, that's a lot of where how the creation stories kind of follow. And then we listen to that story and learn from that story and understand the world around us better. We understand how to move through space, and we understand how the world was created and our connection to it, and kind of the responsibility then of how we move through stuff. So yeah, maybe there's just something for me that kind of fights against the idea of the hero's journey because it's Western in structure.
Yeah.
That I actually I rebel against, or I fight against, or the same as when we started this podcast, this idea of masculinity or patriarchy, or maybe it's just Western story.
So what would you, if you could replace the hero's journey?
What would I replace it? That is a very good question.
I'm a very good interviewer.
It's a podcast. You're not
It's a dialogue.
Listen, I actually think that that's a question that'll probably sit with me for a while. I think that that's probably some of the research that I've been doing around Black theatre and my understanding of Black story, and my understanding specifically of like how Wiradjuri ways of being and doing influence my practice as a playwright and as a director.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is a different journey, I think, there. I don't know what it is. And I probably don't have the language word for it. But I think there is something there. And I think it's actually something I probably deeply explore and live within when I do form and content. And maybe that is the thing that I rally against. That is what I'm fighting against. This idea of putting me in a structure that is not my own, and the making invisible my own cultural practice, and the further eradication of my cultures.
Yeah. We fucking got there.
We got there.
Oh man, cool.
And the answer was colonialism.
Yeah, yeah. And the
feeling in me is like the boxed inness or the invisibleness of like, actually we are the oldest continuing storytellers on the planet, and we are silenced or forced to conform rather than like allowing our spaces to be able to cultivate and share knowledges and the knowledges that are lost in how we tell and create story and our creation stories. Even though there's so many incredible Black storytellers across all of these lands from all different mobs doing all of their work both within community and then within different places to like keep story alive. But story is law and the importance of it. And it's funny because I think people have figured out that the hero's journey is also a version of Western law, like capital LORE law. And yet they refuse to acknowledge and understand the importance of our creation stories on the land on which we walk and speak, and to respect it and to move with it with agency and understanding and to know the importance of it.
This might get cut.
Go.
As a white man. Right? If that...
Is that you?
Yeah.
You're white?
Yeah. Whoa. Dun, dun, dun! So you were just saying that, like, you know, the eradication of, like...
My cultures.
Your cultures.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, the Western frameworks have, like, pushed them out, basically.
Or deliberately. Like, have deliberately overwritten our stories and our knowledges, specifically because that's how colonialism works.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so if I were to try and fully, like, incorporate that and then learn Black storytelling ways and then incorporate that into art that I create, would that be cultural appropriation?
100%. But I think that for me personally, I pictured that as the future of Australia.
Right.
But there is so much healing work to do because it's actually we are the ones who need our cultures. We
Yeah.
are the one who need like that. That's the journey of healing. Like
Yeah.
that's actually what it looks like. To then we get to a point where like if you're working on these lands, you're embedded in those cultures too.
Yeah.
But we're so far away from that.
Right.
Because there's so much learning, there's so much healing, there's so much like it's actually about land back. It's about
Yeah.
supporting all nations and communities and treaties to actually have agency and sovereignty and be able to individually hold all of their own knowledges before we can then...
And it's about white people stepping into, well, especially white Australian people, to step into responsibility of like the land just as much as black people that they do.
Yes.
And being like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
And that
no,
those
this
stories will help and guide you of how to look to take care of country.
and then we can actually have an embodied
Yep.
knowledge
Yep.
of what that means.
Yep.
So it's then not a cultural appropriation
Yes.
because we've now come
Yes.
back to the land
Yes.
and we are now all one people of the land.
Well,
which
yeah.
yes
but
and no,
yeah,
obviously.
but
There's
like you're-
nuances to that.
Yeah, but there's an understanding that you also still have a responsibility to country, right? Which
Yeah.
any elder in any community and any mob will tell you as soon as you got welcomed on the country.
yeah.
But then actually knowing and understanding those stories and those laws and those knowledges
Yeah.
also helps how you guide and move with country and your own connection to country.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the first peoples of those lands that have connection to country, it's everyone who walks on these lands.
Yeah.
And knowing those stories help you understand country, which we talked a little bit about in a previous episode. And I also think that there's, not to say that there's not a... See, and here's the thing, the dichotomy in me, also, which is like, I also think that there's massive value in understanding other story structures, understanding, you know, Western frames and the hero's journey and where that's come from and how that's embedded in people, because that's also... That's about learning lessons. That is still human lessons. And it's about how do you not take that story and erase another story, but how do you have those stories sit alongside each other? That's reconciliation, kiddies.
You.
I hate you less now.
That's good.
That's good.
I like that. Do you feel like you got to
I love you.
the answer? I know. Do you feel like you got to the answer of why
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want to just summarize that?
I think I probably didn't unpack the fact that I knew it consciously, that I was like, we're doing the hero's journey, which is like a specific, like some white guy's framing of like story structure,
Yeah.
which I fundamentally believe in.
Yeah.
But like the idea of the silencing of my own ways of telling story
Yeah.
and the silencing of all of our stories. I probably didn't. And actually probably didn't allow myself to be angry. Probably there was a fear about being, like you said to me before we started filming today, you were like, you're combative. And I was like, no, I'm not. Really combatively. Because I don't think I have permission to be angry.
Yeah. Yeah, and you do. Like, anger is just as valid as joy. Like, but I'm sure, you know, I won't speak for you, but like, there's many, you know, I'll just speak for me. Like, every time I've expressed anger or frustration or rage, you know, that has not been received well.
Yeah.
So,
Same. I think there's something in my brain that's like, why is this black person angry with this nice white man?
yeah.
And I'm like, I love this nice white man. This nice white man is my best friend.
Yeah.
And I'm also allowed to be angry about erasure.
Yeah.
And also I can also love story structure.
yeah. But
Yeah.
there's also racist connotations that like black people can't be like the stereotypical black person
Oh yeah,
who's angry at
you can't be angry.
at the white man.
Yeah, because if I'm angry, then I'm dangerous.
Yeah.
And if I'm dangerous, then I need to be silenced.
Yeah. And as soon as you show that anger,
I'm a threat.
and then the message that you're saying is null and void.
Yeah.
Because you can just point at the anger being like,
Well, they're just angry. It's
just
irrational.
angry. Yeah.
Whoa. Like for our creative practice today, we were going to draw our hero.
Yeah.
Our idea of hero.
Yeah.
I wonder if that feels like it encapsulates what we've kind of expressed. Is there something else that we want to draw? I think drawing is the right activity.
Drawing is great.
Maybe we do draw each other as a hero though. How we see each other's hero. I think that's beautiful. We're going to do that. Let's do that.
Okay.
All right, shall we go on the journey?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I want to like fist bump. Is that?
Okay. Yeah. Why not?
Wanna...
Beep.
Wrong boop.
Boop. Star swipe.
Do you know what's so funny? I reckon we've drawn a really... I just got a tiny bit of a glimpse, and I think we've drawn a really similar picture.
Oh, really?
I'm so excited. So we're going to look at the picture that we've each drawn of each other as a hero.
Yeah.
And then we're going to reflect back how we interpret it, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, cool. Oh, we'll look at the same
Yeah.
time. Yeah, cool.
Ready, set, go.
Whoa.
Oh.
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 I love it.
We so look like we go together, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Do I have a little crab?
It's a frog.
It's a frog. Oh, I'm a merman.
Oh, there's a pretty.
Yeah.
I got a star wand. What's the other thing?
It's the
Some
rainbow.
magic?
It's the rainbow serpent.
Oh, it's as a stick.
What do you mean?
Oh, it looks like he's like a weapon or like a...
No, he's like just like you're with him.
I'm just like holding him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah. He's like Sorry, no, I'm not.
Oh,
you tell me.
so
yeah,
I interpret as in like
tell-
he has morphed into like a wand, and I have two wands.
Okay.
I have like this wand, and then I have like a
Sorry.
star
Yeah,
wand.
I shouldn't have said anything. Yeah, my bad.
And the little like dots around my legs make me feel like they're hairy legs, and I really like that. I'm pretty sure it's just your sketching, but it makes me feel like I got hairy legs, and I really like it. And I think that those are the shoes that I wanted to steal from my cousin when I was little. And I'm on grass because that's important because I'm connected to country. And I've got the flag, and then I've got like a skirt, like a skirt dressy thing. And I'm happy, and I feel whimsical. I feel like I'm like the weird creature that appears. I don't feel like I'm the hero. I feel like I'm the person that gets found in the cave who's already gone on the journey, and they're like, "Hi." We'll take a photo and post it as well for anyone who's listening who wants to see what it looks like. It's like, yeah, it's really beautiful. It's really cute.
And then, do you want me to reflect back to you what I?
Yeah.
So, can I have a look at it?
Yeah.
So yeah, for me this is like Amy that like the superpower tenfold, but this is little Amy.
Oh yeah, I see that.
You get to like go and like spread rainbows and sunshines over other little Amy's, other little people and stuff, and that's what the wand is there for. But then also like the rainbow serpent is there to like ground you and guide you into like who needs what, and so like you can walk the path of yin yamara and just like I don't know, I think. And then also like I'm glad that you like the this is like a little girl, but obviously you're non-binary now, so I did want to have a little bit of, hairy legs.
Oh, it was intentional.
Yeah,
it was.
But also there's the ruby slippers.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I was like, I got it.
So you can then come back to Amy when you wanted to.
So cute.
Yeah.
See that? That's really cute.
Yeah.
That's adorable. I love it.
Yeah, just healing inner children.
Yeah. We should have drew them in each other's books. That would have been smarter.
Oh.
Because then we have them. I'll take a photo though. Yeah. Thank you. That's really beautiful.
All right, now mine. Okay. I look like a merman, but like also like a pirate merman. So maybe like somebody who's like been like who was a pirate, but then mermaids took him and like kept them for himself. But then I've got like a crown, and so like I've become like the merman king. Yeah. And I've got a little frog that's like my sidekick underneath. But I'm also... There's a star and a moon and stars, and I'm like up here doing magic. So maybe it's not in the water because there's the sun as well. So maybe I'm in the universe. Sky country. There you go. So I've just taken the shape of a merman to be able to like navigate outer space and the universe. Because obviously you need a tail for that. Yeah, everybody knows that. And I really love that. Like I've got these like I don't know if they're blushing. Like, because I don't have a border of my face, but I've got these two big black dots under my eyes, and I just feel like that. I don't know. I really like that
because you're bonita.
Bonita. There you go, little cutie. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like he's just like traveling the cosmos and spreading love. Mm-hmm. And magic. And he's got a little friend. So he doesn't like get lonely out there.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on.
Fuck yeah.
That's exactly who he is.
Yeah, that's who he is.
I also feel like neither of us drew the hero. We both drew the people at the end of the journey. Like, because the heroes are normally like, they're on a quest. Whereas we both were like, we're queer in weird space.
Yeah, because I feel like
we're shedding light.
Yeah.
I love that for us.
Well, because
That's how we see each other.
I see you as a hero, like already gone through it all.
Same.
And I know that you've there's plenty of stuff to continue to go through.
But at this moment in time, we get to be like gay, child, fairy, mermaid, celestial beings with star magic.
Yeah.
Correct. Also, you should show everyone and Meg the image.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I love it. That's how I see you.
I want to just sign off with how I signed on. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel less invisible. And kind of loving the complexity of story and moving through it. And less angry, mostly.
And I'm so glad that, like, less angry, but also, like, shout out to your anger.
Yeah.
Like, it really took us on this journey. So, thank you, anger.
Thanks for everyone who came on my emotional ride. How are you?
Yeah, I feel blessed to have, like, been able to, like, go on that journey with you. I feel like I was the little crab sometimes, and then I was also like the pirate, and I think that's
the pirate, mermaid, space being.
Yeah. And I think that's a really beautiful thing within our friendship is like we champion each other to be both the frog
and the merman
and the mermaid and the fairy
and the fairy wizard with hairy legs.
Yeah. And
I get it.
It's like
I feel seen. I see you. Everyone else, let us know how you feel about the hero's journey or any other story structures and how it reflects in your own life. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. And if you want to draw how you see yourself or you want to do it with a friend and how you see them.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We'd really love to see those
pictures.
pictures.
Tag us. We will look at all of them.
Oh, I can't wait
I really
for
want
those.
to.
I want those.
Thanks all. We love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Meg.
Thanks, Meg.
I don't know what we do, Meg.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to the NobleSole podcast with Amy Soul and Ben Noble. This episode was produced and edited by Megan Scollier-Gray.
If you want to support this independent podcast, subscribe or follow wherever you listen. You can also check us out on socials at NobleSole Podcast. If you want to drop us a line, email us at noblesolepodcast@gmail.com.
And hey, if you liked the episode, write us a 5-star review. And if you didn't, well, that's none of our business. Bye.
Bye.